If you recall, political parties serve as a linkage institution in the policymaking system. This lecture will address the purpose of political parties and how they function. A political party is a group that seeks to elect candidates to public office and supply them with a party identification. Political parties exist in three different arenas, which they provide to voters a label, an organization to recruit and campaign for candidates, and lastly, to provide leaders in the government. What do parties do? First and foremost, political parties endorse policymakers when they nominate a person to represent the party on the general election ballot. Political parties also run and coordinate campaigns. For example, when some of you volunteer for a campaign, you reported to an office that was run by a party, and possibly more than one person running for the party was located in the same office. Despite the fact that party membership is declining, people still take cues from the party when deciding how to vote. The party image has a lot to do with the decisions voters make. For example, if you are someone who believes in a strong national defense, you might vote for a Republican because of the strong military stance of the Republican Party. Providing cues for voters relates to the task of articulating policy, and this is also a job of political parties. The fact that each party advocates for specific policy alternatives is what differentiates them. Lastly, parties coordinate policymaking, which provides support for policymakers in Congress, because each office holder is also a member of a party. The American political system is a two-party system. When compared to other democracies, we have fewer policies than others. We have fewer parties than others. Why is that? The rational choice theory and the Downs model attempts to explain why we continue to have limited political parties. The rational choice theory assumes that parties and candidates have the goal of winning elections and that it is more important than ideology. If both parties and voters are rational, they will both find ways to achieve their goals. As a result, parties choose issues that appeal to many people on both sides of the ideological spectrum. So according to this theory, there might be few differences between the two parties. However, in order to win an election, parties must differentiate themselves to build party loyalty. We will discuss this theory more in class. The Downs model also explains why we have parties. First, voters want policies that they like to be implemented by the government. And second, parties want to win election. So parties are going to try to get the policies that attract the voters. And in turn, they will be elected to office. Since the 1960s, political parties have grown weak. If you look at the chart, you will see that there has been a decline in membership in both the Democratic and Republican parties. As you can see right here, 2008 is pretty low compared to 1952. Looking at the chart, where have these voters gone? The answer is that more people are identifying as independents. And we will talk more about that also. Independents are more likely to participate in ticket splitting. In other words, they will vote for members of both parties on the general election ballot. When the Constitution was written, there were no political parties. It was during the ratification process when ideological differences emerged and political parties developed. Since the development of political parties, There have always been two major parties, and our politics focuses on just two parties. Each of the bulleted points on this slide represents a party era in which two parties competed for political control of the government. I am not going to explain the differences between the eras. You will do that on your own when you complete the reading guide for Chapter 8. In class, though, we will discuss critical and realigning elections. See you in class.